Darren Fletcher was one of United's most instrumental midfielders in their decade of dominance in the 2000s, playing in midfield along the likes of Paul Scholes, Roy Keane and Michael Carrick. Darren Fletcher officially played at United from 2003 to 2015. However, from 2008 onwards, he started to feel symptoms from colitis which affected his bowels and, in his words, took him to the toilet 20 to 30 times a day. From 2011 onwards, he started to miss big chunks of the season, and this caused him to miss several games in the season, sometimes the whole of the season in the case of 2012, until he finally had surgery in 2013. Before we start, if you don't know me already, my name is Matthew Feyissa and I'm a medical student from London interested in sports medicine. On this channel, we cover everything sports medicine, from player injuries to player treatments and player rehabilitation methods, and also rare occurrences such as when a professional football player got struck down by lightning in the middle of the field and this caused him to have a cardiac arrest. If you like this kind of content, make sure to click the like button and subscribe to the channel so you can join this ever-growing sports medicine community and it can also help me out. Ulcerative colitis is a disease under the umbrella term of IBD, irritable bowel disease, and in this condition, ulcers and large regions of inflammation appear in the colon known as the large intestine. Colitis is an autoimmune condition, which means the T cells, which are part of the immune kind of system and the response against pathogens and foreign bodies, is attacking itself and attacking the human body. This means a lot of healthy cells get caught in the crossfire, and this leads to conditions such as colitis and many others. Despite it being an autoimmune condition, ulcerative colitis is quite common. As per the NHS, ulcerative colitis is 1 in 450 people in the UK. This expression, as I said, is a lot more common than I thought, as I was thinking it might be 1 in 1,000, 1 in 2,000, but it's a lot more common than that. Quite interestingly, Adam Lallana, who's now playing for Brighton but previously of Liverpool and Southampton, also has this condition. And he mentions that it did cause him a bit of fatigue and caused him to perhaps fall behind as compared to his peers during his time at Southampton. Even though he became captain at only the age of 25, players such as Gareth Bale, Theo Walcott and Oxlade-Chamberlain, who were all his peers at the time, they got selected and were taken to bigger clubs, but he was left behind, in his words, at Southampton. The disease affects the colon, or the large intestine as it's known as, and what happens is pseudopolyps form the mucosal lining, which is kind of the layer of tissue in the colon, and this causes large-scale inflammation as we previously mentioned. The colon has 3 parts: the ascending portion, the transverse portion, and the descending portion. All these 3 regions are affected, and particularly in 95% of cases this also involves the rectum. The colon is involved in waste production, so whatever you want to call it, poo, stool, fecal matter, any disruption in the colon is going to affect it somehow. So either you're going to get constipation or forms of violent diarrhea. And in the case of Darren Fletcher, we can assume that it was violent diarrhea, as he says he was going to the toilet 20 to 30 times. Some other symptoms that would have affected Darren Fletcher on the physical side of things can be severe abdominal cramps, fevers, fatigue, and other things that cause tiredness in general. All of these, when you put them together, can see how difficult it would be for Darren Fletcher to remain as a regular starter at United and even come to training. In his words, at an interview from the BBC, he was making up excuses to why he couldn't come to training, as he thought it might be embarrassing, or he didn't want to really share that side of his story yet. Even though he started feeling symptoms in 2008, he did mention in an interview that he didn't tell anyone until 2011-2012, apart from his close family. However, in a way, it kind of naturally came out, or he was forced to tell him, as he was missing too many training sessions and he would frequently go to hospital on IV drips. The IV drips, to my understanding, would then be used to kind of replenish his fatigue and balance the electrolyte loss that he would have experienced from going to the toilet multiple times during the day. This probably links to the reason why Fletcher struggled to stay fit in the 2011 season and prior to his surgery in 2015, when things naturally can be seen as getting worse. In addition to be placed on IV drips, during the 2003 and 2010 season, he averaged 23 games a season. However, this dipped to 8 games in 2011 season and 3 games in the 2012 season, demonstrating the clear lack of fitness and severe drop in sporting ability as a result of colitis, which naturally can be seen as preventing him from taking the field and carrying his playing career. Regarding Fletcher's potential treatment, in the earlier stages, so let's say from 2008 to 2011, 2012, he would have been on medication. Medication is always the first step in the NHS prior to kind of using surgical intervention. So medication that he could have used would have been aminosalicylates, immunosuppressants, and corticosteroids, and all of these are going to kind of work together to either reduce the immune response, so kind of reduce how his body's fighting against him to cause the ulcerative colitis, or reduce the inflammation and therefore the symptoms. The medication perhaps did not work towards the 2012-2013 season, as he eventually had to have surgery in January 2013. Regarding surgery, Darren Fletcher had an ileostomy, which is a surgical intervention which diverts the small intestines and connects it to a pouch, which is then connected to an external source of a stoma bag used to collect the waste products. To my knowledge, this is the gold standard for surgical interventions for ulcerative colitis and was truly career-saving for Darren Fletcher. I remember in an interview he mentioned that if it wasn't for this surgical treatment and if it didn't go well, his playing career would likely be over. And it was such a success that after the surgery, Darren Fletcher only missed 1 day of training. When you compare that to the times in around 2008 all the way up to 2013 where he missed seasons upon seasons, it is truly amazing how medicine has been able to kind of give his career back and allow him to play the football that he loves. After the surgery, Darren Fletcher played for West Brom and Stoke, and for both of them he played 129 games before retiring in 2019. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any videos in the future. And in the meantime, before my next upload, make sure to check out my last few videos on Martin Odegaard's knee injury, and also a peculiar instance or peculiar case where a player got struck down by lightning and was truly unlucky, which then caused a cardiac arrest and an unfortunate end to his playing career. Apart from that, I want to say thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.